So this is the third lecture about blockchain for Unibit University, and today we'll speak about Ethereum wallets and interactions with them. And it will be in the context of Ethereum, but it's also completely valid for Optimism because it's using the same basic EVM model and account model and everything. So it's completely applicable. And so let's start with what are these Ethereum wallets that you have heard, that they are blockchain wallets and blockchain cryptocurrencies, but how they really work. So first, some definitions. There are wallets, accounts, and addresses. So Ethereum account is an entity that can have balance and can send transactions. So you can think of it like um, I don't know, like your bank account. So you can have balance, you can send transactions, and overall you can manage your funds. The second one is account is the accounts. So the Ethereum account is basically an address. It's like an inbox for your email address, but you can also send funds. And the wallet is basically some software or hardware that is allowing you to interact with this Ethereum account. So it is like an interface, some abstraction that is giving you access to this account and allowing you to use it easier. Um, there's a diagram here that you can see and can make things more visual. So basically, this is your public address in the middle. It is like a post box. Basically, everyone can send you some letters here, but you're the only one that has the key, and only you can open the post box and check what is inside it. So this is a very good analogy on what's happening on the blockchain side. You have a public address, it is safe to share it with everyone. You have the private key that can give you access to the post box and all its content. And in our case, it is mostly funds and some other information. So you can see here that whoever owns the private key, he owns the access to the post box. So this means that um, if someone else get the key, they can open your post box and basically it's already theirs. I mean, you can claim it's your post box, but whoever has the key has total rights over it. And the other part is basically you can imagine this as the other users that are sending some letters, or in our case, some funds and tokens to your post box or to your public address. So this is how it works. So what is the cryptography behind all of this? Because obviously it's not as simple as the post box. It's not physical at the end of the day, but it is completely on the software side. So Ethereum accounts are using public key cryptography. This means that you can generate your own private key, simply a number or a very long hexadecimal string. And the one who owns the private key have full access over the account because the account is derived from the private key. You must keep it safe. This is super important. So if you ever start using blockchain and have your own wallet and you store some funds, then you should definitely keep your private key. And the the other thing which is important is that if you lose your private key or if someone steal it, then there is no way to recover it. So yeah, keep this in mind. The next thing that is important is that creating an Ethereum private key is picking a number between 1 and basically 2 on power 256, which is enormous number. Like we discussed, it's so big that you cannot even imagine it. And it's like, yeah, one with a lot of zeros. And this is the thing that is protecting our private key. It's only the size. because it's so big that it's inefficient to try to brute force it. Another thing which is important is that an Ethereum public key is a point on an elliptic curve. This is related to the cryptography that is used to generate these public-private key pairs. So the Ethereum public key is generated by the secret key and is passed in hash function. And from the public key, you cannot recover the private key. This is super important property, maybe the most important one. Um, the hash functions, we discussed them in the previous lecture, but basically these are functions that are one-way functions. So from the input, you can generate some output, but from the output, you cannot reverse it and get the original input back. Ethereum address is a unique identifier and it is derived from the public key. So let's start from the beginning. Very quick overview. We have private key. From the private key, we can basically derive a public key, and the Ethereum address, the one that you use or your IBAN, is basically derived from the public address. So it's a shorter form of the public key. You can see how a typical private key looks like. It's a very long hexadecimal string, or at the end of the day, it could be represented as some very large number. We have the public key, which is using some cryptography, and then when it's generated, it looks like this. And if we want to generate an address, we hash the public key and then we take some of the bytes. So you can see that this is a smaller form of the public key. Only 20 bytes, the last 20 bytes. There are different Ethereum accounts. Some of the accounts are called externally owned accounts, and the other accounts are called smart contracts. So the externally owned account are controlled only by private key. So everything that we discussed so far is valid for this kind of accounts. And the other one, which is a contract accounts, they basically could be controlled by a couple of parties. It could be some logic behind it. It's basically a piece of code that also has the possibility to have some balance. And this is the main difference. And the other thing is that externally owned account, for example, if we have Ethereum and Optimism and we have externally owned account, we can port accounts between the two chains. The balance won't be transferred automatically, but you will have the same account on the different layers. But with the smart contract, when you create a smart contract, you receive some unique address. So in most of the cases, if you deploy the smart contract on some other layer or blockchain, it will have different address. So this is also a big distinction. Types of wallets. There are different kinds of wallets, but one of the most secure ones are the physical hardware wallets. Examples for physical hardware wallets are Trezor and Ledger. These are maybe the most used. And there are some physical wallets in the form of card and some others like flash drives and so on. So there are different ways to store your account balance and to manage your account, but hardware wallets it's definitely a good choice. If you have some significant amount of cryptocurrency, it's different definition for everyone what's a significant amount. But let's say if it's over $1,000, I would recommend that you buy a physical hardware wallet, because usually the price is between $100 and $200. So if you are planning to invest only, I don't know, $100 in cryptocurrency, it doesn't make sense to buy a hardware wallet for $200. Other kind of wallets are mobile applications. So again, this is just an interface that is giving you access to your blockchain account, and it is installed on your mobile phone, And from here, you can interact with your blockchain account and send transactions, receive transactions, and so on. This one, which is on the picture, is called Exodus, if I'm not mistaken. So it's relatively secure, and yeah, it's an easy way to have those access to your cryptocurrencies quick and easy. There are web wallets. So the idea of these wallets is that you don't have to install any software on your computer or mobile phone, but you basically open some browser and you access you enter your private key or in some other way import your wallet and basically blockchain account, and from there you can access it. I wouldn't recommend these for a very big uh, amount of cryptocurrencies because it could be dangerous. Someone can compromise your browser and yeah, they can steal your cookies or local storage or whatever, so you should use this with cautious. And yeah, in my opinion, compared to the hardware and mobile wallet, this is a little bit more insecure. Uh, there are desktop applications which are also used as wallets. Again, they allow you to interact with your blockchain account. Example for this kind of wallets is Electrum. It is widely known against the Bitcoin community, and it was one of the first and still widely used desktop wallets when you want to interact with your Bitcoin account. It is supported on Mac, Windows, and Linux. There are some other kind of wallets which are more interesting, let's say. They are the so-called paper wallets. So what it means, you can go to some website, enter some random words, numbers, or just move your mouse, and then it can generate randomly some public and private key addresses for you. So you can see that this is the address that you have, and this is your private key. So it's 100% on paper, so it doesn't have access to internet. So what you can do now is you just deposit some funds to your address. You cannot check the balance because or maybe you can check because you can input your public address in some blockchain explorer and check what is your balance. But the idea is that you can put some funds here, then you can just take the paper wallet, put it in your safe place and hold it there forever. And it is less likely to be hacked because it's only on paper. If it's something which is on your computer or your mobile phone, there is still chance that someone can compromise it. But when it's completely on paper, they should physically steal it in order to get access to your blockchain account. So this is possible because, as I discussed, the private key is just a very large number, some hexadecimal string, and your address is derived from it. So you can basically create as many public-private key pairs or accounts as you want, and you don't even need access to internet for that. You can run the off-chain algorithm and create the wallets. So yeah, this is another cool feature of these blockchain accounts, that you don't need an authority or someone to create it for you, but it is could be done completely off-chain. Off-chain means without access to blockchain, without even access to internet. So we'll do some live demo. The previous year I was doing it on my Ether wallet. I'm wondering if we should do it with MetaMask or to continue doing it with my Ether wallet. But yeah, let's try to make it with my Ether wallet, and then we will decide if it works for us or we want to try the other way around. I'll stop my screen recording just for a second to set up to open my browser and to prepare the website. So if you have any questions so far, you can ask it. No questions. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create our own wallet, and then we're going to create also blockchain accounts, and we'll try to interact with it. So yeah, let's see if we can do it quickly. And I hope that all of you have access to computer and internet because you will need it for this one. Okay, I'll start sharing my screen again. Okay, so for our test purposes, we can use two things. One of them is Mitre wallet, and the other one is MetaMask. MetaMask is another kind of wallet, which is um, basically browser extension that is allowing you to download. I mean, I guess you know what are browser extensions. There are some plugins that you can download from the Chrome store, and then you can install it in your browser. And after that, you can use them as some extra applications inside your browser. So MetaMask is one of the most widely used um, wallets as browser extensions. It has like 17 million downloads, and yeah, a lot of people are preferring this way to interact with their blockchain accounts. Again, it is recommended to use it for smaller amount of funds. For example, if you have up to $1,000, it's okay to use MetaMask. But if you have some significant amount, maybe it's better idea to buy a hardware wallet. The other option that we might potentially use is accessing your wallet from um basically a web wallet. So here you can create a wallet and you can interact with your blockchain account, and this is happening inside this website application. So it's not the most secure way, but Mitre wallet is trusted and open source. So to some extent we can believe that our currencies are safe, but it's again not the recommended way if you have a significant amount of funds. So you can open the website. I will give you the link. Here it is. And when you open it, you see this big blue button, which is saying create a new wallet. So let's say I want to create a new wallet. It will get me here. And you can see that it's recommended to download the mobile app or use the browser wallet of Encrypt. But I want to make it in the other way. So there is some gray area here, and it is written other ways. When you click the drop down, you will see that there is connection with the hardware wallet, which is, as they say, the most secure way. And the other way is create a software wallet, which is the most unsecure way to interact with your blockchain account, but we'll use it for our demo purposes in order to make it more visual how we are creating a blockchain account and how we can manage it. So I'll click here. You can do the same. Are you able to follow me? Okay, cool. So there are a few options here. One of them is a key store file, and the other one is a mnemonic phrase. Again, you will see these warnings that this is very unsafe option, so maybe it's not a good idea to use it in production. But yeah, we'll select mnemonic phrase. So what is the idea of this mnemonic phrase? You remember that big number that I showed you, which is the private key? It is a very big hexadecimal string and it's hard to remember. So in order to make it easier, um, yeah, the community have decided that in order to make it easier for you to remember it, they will give you 12 words. So when you take these 12 words, you can generate the key from them. Like there is some algorithm that is taking these 12 words, and out of them it is generating the private key, and from there you know that you can derive the public key and the public address. So it will give you 12 words like this. You should write them down somewhere. And when you write down the words, then, for example, these are my words. Again, when you do this in real life, you have to keep these words private, and you have to hide it from everyone. Basically, this is your private key, access to your private key. So don't share it with anyone. Just write down these words, even better on paper, and keep it safe. So I will show you my words for these demo purposes. So these are my words, 12 words. So I can click here that I wrote down my words. And one another thing, here we have 12 words, and the total amount of words that are possible, I mean the total amount of combination is usually there is like 256 words or 512 words. So you can imagine that on first place we can have 512 possibilities. The second place is again 512 possibilities, which is 10 on 2 on the power of 9, if I'm not mistaken. So it is 2 on power of 9 multiplied by 2 power of 9 12 times. So it is 2 on power of, how much is that? 108, something like this. So again, this is a very huge number. So it looks only like 12 words, and someone can try to guess them. But in fact, it's a lot of combination of words, having in mind that we have 512 words and we pick 12 of them in some specific order. So if the order is not correct, you won't be able to reproduce the same wallet. So here I click them, I wrote the words down. Now it is checking if I have really wrote the words correctly. So now I should confirm by selecting the right words here. So it is asking for the third word. It was caution. It is asking for the sixth word, which was rook, and the 11th one was hazard. So rook and hazard. Here and here, and I click verify, and it is telling me that everything is correct. My words are in the right order. So now I can access my wallet. So if I click access wallet, it will take me back here. And when I'm on this page, I can scroll down, go to the software and select it. And I select private key. Oh, I don't select private key, but mnemonic phrase. And now it is asking me again to write down my 12 words. So let's write them down. I'll try to remove these numbers and just copy paste it in order to make it faster. You can write them down one by one, whatever you prefer. Or maybe use a better text editor and do this with one click, not spending so much time as I do. So here are my words. You can see that I've pasted them. And now I can click next. And it will give me access to my account basically. And as you can see, I have multiple addresses that are derived from this private key or this mnemonic phrase. So usually, if I have some account that have balance and the other doesn't, it will put it on the top. But now all accounts have zero balance, so it is just putting some of the accounts on the top. And now I should accept terms and conditions. When we go to networks, there are different networks that we can use, but in our case, we want to use Optimism. So select Optimism, then click I accept terms and conditions and access my wallet. So when I do that, you can see that I have access to my wallet. At the moment, it has zero balance. And I can interact with some apps using my blockchain account. I can send funds to some of your wallets, or I can receive funds from someone else. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm using the mainnet, so I will do it with some very small amounts of uh, tokens that I'm going to transfer. But basically, these are real funds, so I will send to this account like 30 cents. And if you were able to create your own wallet, I will ask you to write down your address. When you click receive, you can see it. You can copy it and just paste it in the chat that we have. And I'll try to send some funds to you as well. And then you should see that your balance is updated. And again, these are real funds, so you can use them. They are represented in cryptocurrency, but they have dollar value. So you can go and buy something with them. But with the 10 or 20 cents that I'm going to send you, maybe you cannot buy many things. And um, I'm using Optimism on the mainnet because, as far as I know, my wallet is supporting Optimism only on the mainnet, not on the testnet. But usually, when we make such kind of demo sessions and we want to show some transactions and deploy some smart contracts, usually we do it on the testnet. So there we have the same functionality, but everything is like doesn't have any value. So I'm going to send some funds here. This is dangerous because I showed you my mnemonic phrase. So if someone have wrote down my mnemonic phrase, you can go enter it, access my wallet, and you can steal all the funds that I'm going to deposit here. So yeah, keep this in mind. This is only for the demo. I showed you my mnemonic phrase, therefore my private key. Now I'm going to deposit some funds here. But in the real case, you don't show your mnemonic to anyone because they can steal your funds. So now I go to my MetaMask, which is another kind of wallet. It has slightly different interface, but does the same thing. I can receive funds, I can send funds, I can do swaps and some other things, which we will cover in the next lecture. So at the moment, I just want to, here I have selected the Optimism mainnet, which is the blockchain that we're going to use. Then I'm going to select my account. I'm going to click send, and I will paste here the wallet that is the address that I have here, and I'll try to send some very small amount. For example, this is $2, this is 20 cents. So I'll try to send, is this too much? Let's say I'll try to send 15 cents. I click next. Now it will tell me that I will have to pay some fee as well, which is the fee which is sent to the blockchain. It is the fee that is going to the miners which are supporting the network. So we can see that this will be the total amount that I'm going to send. The optimism fees are super small, so it won't impact my send transaction that much. So I click confirm. Now it is sending the transaction. And if I want to make sure that everything is correct, first of all, the status should go from pending to confirmed. Then I can go to the blockchain explorer, and here I can see the transaction that was generated. You can see the from account. This is my MetaMask account. You can see the to account. This is the account that I sent the funds to, and this is the value that I've sent. Here it is. This is the transaction fee. It is like 0.003 cents, so it's super cheap. It's almost free. And yeah, here is the gas price. Basically, this is the gas that I'm paying for every computation unit for the gas used. But yeah, I will show you this in the in the next lecture. So if I come here, my balance should be updated pretty soon. If I go to portfolio, maybe I think there was some way to refresh balance, and when I click it, you can see that at the moment I have 15 cents. So these are real money that I have. It's not money, in fact, it's cryptocurrency that has some money representation and it really has some value. So this is the funds that I have sent here, and they are already in my account. So I will send you some funds as well. Maybe I will use this account to show you how it works. So first I will send some funds to Sofia. So I click send. I select the two address. This is her address that she shared with me. And here is the amount. When I click max, this is the amount that I can send in total, but I'll try to send a little bit less. So for example, this much, and it is giving me here a very high transaction fee. Maybe it's not computing the fee correctly, so I will use my MetaMask to send the transaction again. This is her address, and then I will select some smaller amount, for example 11 cents. I'll click next. Okay, confirm, and now she should receive the 11 cents that I've sent to her. And yeah, let's wait for a few seconds. Basically, Optimism is super fast, but still it takes like 1 to 5 seconds. In the best case, it should take less than a second, but it really depends how used is the network right now. And the funds are already in her account. And I'll send some amount to the other colleague. Sorry for that. Okay, so let's click here max and again make it smaller. Like, okay, perfect. So I'll send 29. I mean, I don't care if it's 10 cents or 20 cents. I just want to have more balance to send to more of you and to use it for the tests in the next lecture. So I click next, confirm. So Sofia has received the funds and now I'm sending some funds to Martin. Perfect. You can see that he already got it. Here is still loading, but it's only loading according to this wallet. But in fact, the transaction is already confirmed. It just takes some time in order to fetch the statuses and update them in the user interface. But in fact, you can see that the transaction have happened 25 seconds ago, which means that once I send it almost simultaneously, it was confirmed. Just the UI is lagging because it's expensive operation for the UI application to check the transaction status all the time. So I guess that they have some timeout. So they're checking the status on every 5-10 seconds. And that's why the status is updated a little bit slower on the extension side. Okay. So is there someone else who wants to receive some Optimism tokens? Later on, you can use these tokens to basically deploy smart contracts and do some other cool things. As we have some time left, maybe you can take a look at MetaMask, which is the browser extension that I'm using and one of the most used in the crypto space. So you can come to the website, which is metamask.io. And once you're here, you can. I already have MetaMask, so it's not popping up the button that I should download it. But in your case, it should have some kind of download button here, I guess. So when you click on the download button or when you click on view your account, it should, in my case, it has connect MetaMask, but in your case, it should have install MetaMask. So if you want, you can go and try to install it on your browser because this will be useful for maybe for the practices tomorrow. We will have to make some smart contracts so we can try to deploy them on Optimism mainnet. So this is important. Do you want to try it now and tell me if it works? And if it doesn't, you can, yeah, share your screen and we can try to troubleshoot it. Yes, it's a wallet extension, so it should, yeah, appear somewhere here and ask you to install it. Yeah, I guarantee that this extension is legit and there is no viruses and so on. As I mentioned, it is, yeah, really one of the most widely used at the moment as we speak about cryptocurrency wallet. So if I come here, which is the Chrome web store, you can see that here is MetaMask and it has like 17 million users that have downloaded the extension. Yeah, the review is not that good because maybe sometimes it's lagging and there are some stuff, but still it's the most used at the moment. Okay, do you have any questions so far? Ah, you mean that, yeah, this is a good question. If you click use an existing one, you can import the seed phrase that you have generated here, and you can have exactly the same account. But I mean, it's your choice. You can import it or you can use a new one. I mean, if I were you, I would create a new one because it will be more secure to have more than one account and not to put all your funds in one place. And then you can transfer your existing balance to the new wallet, or I can send you some funds to the newly created wallets. So beside the funds that we send and so on, did you get the, I mean, did you understand how it works? How the wallets are generated? What are these public private keys? Is it more clear when we saw it in practice? Okay, okay, perfect. The others, if you're on your computers, can you share with me your public addresses? I mean, I'm talking about Victor, Nikolai, Radoslav, Daniel, Boyan. If you can do the same steps and send me your address, I can send some funds to you as well. Maybe in the next lecture we'll make a deep dive into optimism and how it really works, which is again super important because yeah, you should know how the second layer operates on lower level. It's cool to use it and see how fast it is and how cheap the transactions are, but it's also important to know how it works. And maybe after that we'll have a lecture about different applications on Optimism. So for now, we know how to create a blockchain account and how to generate a wallet that can interact with the blockchain account. But it is also interesting to see what are the different applications that we have on the blockchain, how are they used, how you can interact with them, and you will see that this MetaMask could be used as your universal login to different applications. For example, this is one of the most famous applications in the blockchain space. It looks like something that 5 years old designers have made. It's super simplified and it's just a simple form. But at the end of the day, this is one of the most used interfaces for swaps. So here you can exchange one token for another. For example, I can exchange ETH on top of Optimism for USDT. So when I come here, I can enter some amount that I want to exchange. It should automatically give me the amount that I'm going to receive. And then if I click swap, at the moment I don't have enough funds for the transaction because it takes some money. But here, if I click swap, I can basically exchange this token for USDT. USDT is a stable coin which is representing the dollar and it's backed by dollars according to the organization that is leading the project. So basically you can exchange any token for any other and it is completely on-chain. And this interface that you see here and the blockchain protocol behind it, it is used by a lot of people and it has significant amount of volume per day. So for example, I guess that every day they are hitting almost 1 billion transaction volume per day. You can see that the total value worked inside the protocol is like $4.5 billion, and the volume for the 24 hours is 1.24 billion only for Ethereum. And this simple widget that you see here is making like 1.2 billion volume per day dollars. That amount of funds are exchanged through it. So yeah, this is the other application of blockchain. It's like it is super useful for financial applications and it automates a lot of the processes and it allows the application to scale. So you can imagine that if you have an application that is managed by people and it's an OTC desk, if you have like 10,000 transactions per day for this amount of value, you should have like, I don't know, 50 operators that are making the transactions and the trades and so on. If you have some software that is doing that, you still need developers and people that are supporting the platform, people that are looking after the deployments and DevOps and so on. So it still need at least 10 to 15 people. But in that case, they just created the smart contracts. They deployed it once. Now it's completely on the blockchain, so you don't have to look after the deployment and monitor if the service is up or down or whatever. And the other thing they did is they have created this simple user interface and they host it here and it is directly working with the blockchain. So I think that it saves a lot of efforts and makes things much more autonomous and decentralized. And yeah, they don't have to think about login methods and so on because I'm just automatically connected with my MetaMask account. And yeah, that's it, how it works.